As a floral designer, I'm always looking for the freshest cut flowers. I'm here in Weiss Creek at Basil and Bergamot with Emily, who's been growing flowers for 9 years, and I'm super excited to see what she's got. So this is the greenhouse where they do everything from seed starting to cuttings to propagation year-round. I see different stages of things and different sizes of plants. What is kind of the soil mixture that you start with? I think that's really important to discuss because that's everything.
I don't mix my own just because I feel like it's a lot of work and I have a lot to do. So I go to the farm co-op and I buy the big bales of Pro Mix, and it's just a general purpose planting medium. It's good for starting seeds, bumping plants up, and just using it in containers as well. Yeah. And I like to use the cells for starting seeds, just so I can get as many plants per seed packet as I can. And I just fill it in with the Pro Mix, lay the seeds on the top, and then just set them out and let them germinate. Yeah, I see some that are probably about this stage that look like they're almost ready probably to go outside. Yes, they are ready. These are really sensitive to cold though, so I'm kind of waiting until that, you know, most nights are above 40, but they are definitely ready. When you see the little roots that are circling around the bottom, that means that they are ready to plant. Yeah, and what are these guys right here? These are chocolate cosmos. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, they're related to dahlias. Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw that chunky root in there. They'll make a little tuber like a dahlia, and you can lift them up and store them like a dahlia tuber too, so. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. They're really neat. These are standard cosmos? These are lemonade cosmos, so they're a pale yellow. Oh, very cool. So I'm excited about them. It's the first time I've grown them, but they're also ready to go out. It's a nice, easy to transplant plug. Yeah, that is nice. So as an organic grower, I see that you've got quite a bit of cover crops in here in this transition field. Yes. So tell me about this. So this will be where the summer flowers are going to be planted, and possibly the dahlias. Since I plant all year, I want to make sure that I have a time for my soil to rest in between. Right. And this one is resting. And there's crimson clover, field peas, rye, and some kale. And it's just to help fix nitrogen and add organic matter. So I'll mow this down about 2 weeks before I'm ready to plant. Okay. And then till it under, and then I'll plant in there after. I won't have to amend this much, if not at all, with the organic matter of the rye, and then the nitrogen, the legumes like pulling up all the nutrients to the surface of the soil. Well, I see these amazing greenhouses behind us with all kinds of different things. So let's go look at those. Okay. Yeah. So we're in one of the kind of halfway covered houses, and I see a couple different things in here. What's the benefits of growing in here as opposed to the field? Growing in a hoop house causes the plants to stretch and be a little bit taller, which is great for cut flowers. Okay. It also protects them from weather, such as really cold or rain, so that the flowers are perfect and they're not cuts down on diseases and things like that too. I want these to bloom hopefully around Mother's Day, and it also will help extend my season so that I can get things to bloom Mother's Day versus out in the field to be a couple weeks later. Okay, gotcha. So these, are these campanulas? These are campanula. There's pink and white, and then beside you is foxglove. Foxglove. What are some of the other things that you prefer to do in a hoop house? Snapdragons are great in a hoop house. Yeah. Because they get really tall. Anything that I grow in the hoop house will be this tall versus this tall in the field. Wow. It's really amazing to see the difference when you plant out in both different places, the same thing. So this is obviously your large production greenhouse. These anemones right here are quite spectacular, and with their long stems, they really make nice cut flowers. And these are a little open. I try to cut them more like this so that they will have a longer vase life, but these will still have a really great vase life just because they opened this morning. And their foliage is this green fern. Yeah, there's not actually very many weeds in here, luckily. So most of the green that is in here is the foliage of the anemone. Yeah, and so the flower comes from all the way down at the base of the ground, so that does, so you don't have to cut off any of their foliage. When you cut the flowers. It's like a single stem, which is one of my favorite to harvest because it's one of the easiest. Yeah, yeah, and the leaves can sit there and add to the and you see a new one coming behind the one you cut. So that's a little baby there. Oh, great! And so that'll be the next round. Yeah. Of anemones. So these, what are these next
orange, kind of orange and yellow ones. These are unfamiliar to me.
These are butterfly ranunculus.
Wow.
They look more like the buttercup or a wild ranunculus
Yeah.
than the traditional, very like rose flowered ranunculus.
I see lots of branching on
Yeah,
them too.
there's multiple blooms per stem, which is great. And this is the best time to harvest, when one is open and these are about to open.
Okay. Okay.
That's the best. Yeah, these are all open here. It's a little.
Yeah, very cool. And of course, one of my favorites too for fragrance are the sweet peas.
Yeah, wherever you see netting, there are 4 rows of sweet peas, and there's about 30 different varieties
Wow.
planted throughout.
Yeah, I see some dark reds and some bright pinks, probably some whites.
Yes, and they're just about to start really exploding. You can see all the little buds
Yeah.
here, just a few blooms.
And how high will they get?
They'll usually reach the top of the netting by the end of the season.
Wow. What's the end of their season here?
June, July.
Okay, so-
Sometimes I can stretch them out.
Kind of the dead of our summer, it just gets too hot
Just
for
gets
them.
too hot for them, yeah.
Yeah. And then to the queens of the greenhouse, the traditional ranunculus.
Traditional ranunculus, yeah. These are salmon ranunculus, so they're that really beautiful orangey peach color.
When do you plant these?
These were planted in November. You pre-sprout them and then you plant them out, and that just makes longer stems and happier plants.
Oh.
I have not had success growing them outside of a hoop house.
Okay.
So they'll get pretty large through the winter. The plants were about this size like January and February, and then when it finally warms up, they'll send out the flowers.
So you'll get a flush of green.
Yeah,
while
they're green
kind of
all
growing.
winter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Some of these bicolored ones down here are really spectacular. That kind of dipped edge
know.
is just so neat.
They get
Wow.
aphids really bad. I'm always happy to see the ladybugs on them.
Oh yeah, your beneficial
Yeah,
insects.
yeah.
Yeah, because you don't spray with anything that's not
Yeah.
organic. Is there anything that you feel like you need to spray with at any points?
They get botrytis very easily, so I try to do preventative things because I know they're going to get
Right.
those. So I use neem oil when they start to grow, and then I also use something called cease. It's like a beneficial bacteria that supposed to help them be more vigorous, and it attaches to their roots so that they don't get the botrytis, which they're really susceptible to. So
Well, everything looks really healthy, so you are really staying on top of it. It
Trying,
does,
yeah.
It does help to spray everything and get everything before you see it, because when you see it, it's almost too late.
yes, yeah. What's an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of flowers.
Yes.
So I feel like this is kind of what people imagine when they hear a flower farm, kind of the clusters, masses of all the flowers.
Not in the field.
Right, not in the
Yeah.
field, all prepared and ready to go. It's really breathtaking in here. One thing I did notice that kind of stood out to me was the tulips and how you've got them laid out with the bulbs still attached. Why do you do that?
It keeps the flower fresh and stops it from continuing to bloom, like if it was outside.
Oh.
And it feeds the flower so that it will store longer. It has to be stored dry so that the mold does not or anything happen to it. And it looks a little bit thirsty, but as soon as you are ready to harvest them, you just pop the bulb off.
Okay.
And then put it in a bucket of water, and within 20 minutes it'll be rehydrated and still have like a 2-week vase life.
Wow.
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, the benefits of local flowers.
Yeah.
Tell me about this one. I've not seen this.
It's a late variety called Prosecco. It's the first time I've grown them. I just planted them out this fall. They smell amazing, and they have some of them have multiple blooms per stem, which is great.
Yeah.
And they bloom really late. The other ones have been finished for weeks, and then these just now came up. So.
And that coloration is just so different
That
than
peach.
anything. Yeah, usually they're a kind of a white or a bright yellow. It's right in the middle.
Yeah, I fell in love with that color.
And of course, ranunculus, just kind of the queen of the farm, I feel like here.
Oh, absolutely. All the petals, the colors that they come in are definitely some of my favorites. And these are ranunculus here too. And look, just the difference in the color variation of those is great.
Yeah, yeah. Another one of my favorite flowers of all time are the anemones. They're just with that dark center. And this is one that's definitely, I would say, benefits from being local because they don't ship well, are the Iceland poppies.
Yes, and so when they ship them, they have to be in the this is called cracked bud stage, where this is the perfect time to harvest them. It's really difficult to get them at this stage, especially here in the South, because it gets so warm. I'll go out in the morning and cut them, and when I try to cut them like this, and then I'll go out an hour later and they'll be open.
Yeah.
But I'm still getting them the day that it opens, so they still have a really great vase life. Yeah. And you can they almost guaranteed to open if you get them cut local, because I'm getting them at just the right stage versus if they're shipping them, sometimes they'll cut them a little too early and send it on anyway. But
yeah, I have had some where I've pulled this. So yeah, with one shipped in from far away, you have to kind of pull this off yourself, and sometimes the flower never fully opens. Or it stays real kind of crinkled, smushed because of that. But there's so many benefits of buying local flowers. One, from supporting your community, to two, just healthier and better flowers. This has just been a spectacular day. I can't thank you enough, Emily, for showing us around.
Thank you for coming out.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.